And welcome back to our YOUTHFLEX show. We are in our season of caring. I am your host, Deidre, along with my co-host, Jessie. For today's show, we will be having the Chief Protocol Officer, Miss Melanie Sims, on the show.
The word of the week is contactless. CONTACTLESS. It is an adjective meaning not having to physically touch or interact with people, relating to the use of wireless technology to make a payment using a credit card or debit card or a cell phone.
The quote of the day is, "I may not have gone where I intended to go, but I think I have ended up where I needed to be." Douglas Adams. You can join in on our conversation by calling 1-800-534-8255, toll-free courtesy of Flow, or you can join us on YouTube Live. But before we have our first guest, Jessie will be saying the news.
For news today, next week's National Heroes Day ceremony will be a pared-down affair compared to previous years, in light of the current COVID situation. And this year's 500 honorees will have to wait for a later date to receive their awards. The Government Protocol Office announced on Tuesday this year's event, which will be held in Hero Square with attendance by invitation only, honors members of Cayman's uniformed services. A smaller version of the event will be held from 9 to 11 a.m. on Monday, January 24th, 2022, which is a public holiday. It will involve the unveiling of Cayman's newest national hero, who wrote a song that is important to Caymanians, and wreath laying to recognize the contributions of the 10 national heroes and other nation builders, the organizers said.
Thank you, Jessie. So now we'll be speaking with Miss Melanie Sims, who is calling in. Hello?
Well, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you all?
We're good.
Yeah.
Can you please just reintroduce yourself for those who are just coming in?
You have to forgive me because I'm going to say a different title than the one that you said. My name is Melanie Sims. I'm the Chief of Protocol for the Cayman Islands Protocol Office.
Okay. And
we have protocol officers as part of our team. So happy to meet you all on the radio and I guess the video watching on TV as well. I'm not sure.
Thank you for joining us today. Yeah. So what is the goal of the protocol office?
That's a hard question. You sure you want all the answers, or should we? You have enough time for the whole thing? Or
yeah, we have enough time for all the answers.
Well, as you mentioned, with National Heroes Day and the release that you read, and thank you for sharing that. The Protocol Office, our goal is to ensure that our Cayman Islands ministers and government heads are treated with the dignity and respect that is necessarily bestowed upon them, just like their counterparts elsewhere in the world. So where we're trying to instill that in our general public, our Caymanian people, is not saying that we should worship and bow down to someone that you usually call Makiva. We're asking you to actually recognize that he has a title, and it's the Honorable Makiva Bush, not just Makiva because you grew up calling him that. He has now earned that title. And it's the same thing with the Premier, the Honorable Premier, and to always respect their title, to always respect their role. And it's not necessarily the person, guys. It's the title, it's the office that they hold that you're saying you're respecting them. So that's one of the simplest answers. We are charged to ensure that our national pride is upheld and maintained and given the due respect that is required of it, such as our national flag. How do we treat our national flag? Do we put it up with pride, with respect, with honor? Do we take it down with pride, with respect, with honor? Do we fly it looking tired and torn? Does it look purple? What color is the national flag?
Blue.
It's blue on land.
And red on sea.
On sea, exactly. So are you treating the flag with respect? Are you putting it up during the daytime? Is it being flown at night? If it's flown at night, that's okay. But trivia for you, when should you fly your flag at night? When is it okay to fly the flag at night? Do you have that answer?
No, Mom.
And that's why we're here. That's why the protocol office is here, to teach you this stuff.
But what is the answer to that question?
Very good answer for you. Always make sure it has a light shining on it. So you either put a light on the light pole or you put a light on the ground and shine it up on it. But never fly that flag in the dark. That's absolutely disrespectful.
Okay.
And so your national flag is a representation of you, of us, our people. National Heroes Day is a reflection of us, reflecting us, our people, as well. And so the national events such as National Heroes Day, the Queen's birthday celebrations, and also the Remembrance Sunday celebrations ceremony is something that the protocol office is responsible for putting on. So we are in charge of national events as well.
Okay.
And you said you have time. And we are also responsible to ensure that our anybody who's coming to the Cayman Islands on an official visit, so they're coming to visit the Premier, or they're coming to visit the Cayman Islands in an official capacity, such as Prince Philip, who came here 2 years ago. The protocol office plays a huge role in that as well, to ensure that everyone that he is going to meet with, or that they're going to meet with, they understand certain protocols and etiquette around that, their title, to make sure they're calling them the right name, the right way, they're touching, they're not touching, that type of thing. I hope you've learned a lot.
I have.
I did. Yeah.
I think that's really important because a lot of people really don't know, like, how to treat, like, the flag and stuff like that. Like, I just learned today that it can be flown in the dark, because I used to think that the sun should not set on the flag. But now I know that you can fly at night if a light is shining on it.
Absolutely. And it's not necessarily saying everyone should fly the flag at night. It's just saying if you must fly it at night, if you have a function that's going to go straight into the nighttime, or you want to, say, one of the hotels here in Cayman, so say the Ritz-Carlton, they may want to still display flags at night. They're a corporate entity. They're not a government office. But they do want to fly the country flag, which would be the Cayman flag. Then make sure that flag is illumined by light along with their corporate flag if they fly it at night.
Okay. Thank you so much.
And there's lots more that you can find about on our website, on protocol website as well, too. Or you can call the protocol office, and we're happy to give you more information. There's so much more that we do, and we enjoy what we do because we're passionate about getting things done the right way, especially for our people.
Can you please give the website so that people can know where to look for this information?
No, it's a long stretch. Let me find it here. First, you have to go to gov.ky.
Yes, Mom.
And then, because it's not just visit protocol at gov.ky, it's more of a link from the main government webpage. And I'm looking to make sure I tell you the right thing. So when you go to gov.ky, you go to About Us.
About Us.
Then you go to Our Government.
Yes.
And then you go to Protocol Resources.
Okay.
And there you'll find information about what we do, any guidance that you may need on how to address dignitaries, etc. You see some other information about what laws that we observe. When you're talking about using the coat of arms or the flag, there is a law that governs that, such as the Cayman Islands Coat of Arms and Flag and Song Law. And other ideas on there for you to look at and call me and discuss. I'm happy to take your call. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. So, how do you go about achieving these goals?
The office's goals?
Yeah, so you said how the protocol office is in charge of making sure that the protocol is met. How do you achieve that goal?
We have ongoing training sessions. We provide training, whether it's business etiquette training, which talks about how to shake hands or how in this day and age with COVID, how not to shake hands, but how to now meet and greet an official, how to conduct yourself in public. So you're invited to go to the government house for cocktail hour or the reception at the with the governor. What should you wear? What should you not say? How should you handle the cocktails along with shaking hands or not shaking hands? It's all about what to do and how to do it with the training sessions. We also do etiquette training. We talk about using that knife and fork for the dining etiquette, which you would already know how to use from home, knife and fork. But what about if you're invited to dine out with Prince Philip? Should he come back here now in a different capacity? Or if any of the royal family members come here and you're invited, let's say you're with the Duke of Edinburgh scheme, and you're invited to dine with them. Do you know how to maneuver that dining area around you without stealing someone else's bread plate, for instance? So we give you ongoing training sessions, and we offer it free of charge to government entities and private sector entities based on our schedule and our training schedule.
So now that you've shared with us the main purpose of the protocol office, what does your specific job entail in the protocol office?
It's all of that and more. It's always providing guidance. It's taken into consideration what is good for the Cayman Islands, what is good for our customs. But we also envision that on the international stage, that we are still a player globally, and we don't have to get on a plane to go somewhere for a meeting. So we're getting smaller and smaller is what I'm saying. So we have to ensure that the Cayman Islands always look good, that our ministers always look good, that our premier always look good. And we try our best to ensure that they have the knowledge, they have that information. So on a daily basis, we're constantly providing guidance, we're constantly providing advice to their personal assistants, or whether it's to them directly, as well as the general public, trying to help us all be elevated on a different level. We are a very small office, so we can only do so much in such little time. We try to have that social media presence because we do have our Facebook and our Instagram accounts, but we need young people like you who are constantly on the phone or constantly on the social media sites to keep it going more. We try our best to keep it updated.
That's amazing, and I genuinely agree with that. And I think it's important, especially in our youth, to keep them updated, especially when, we're addressing our dignitaries and such. Yeah. So how long has the protocol office been around or been in place?
We opened officially, were established in 2007. 2007, yes. And we have been working behind the scenes, as we always try to do. We try to remain behind the scenes as much as possible to put things like this that I've talked to you about already in place. And any of the government entities, once they're having an event or when they're having a function or someone's coming to visit with their minister, they'll reach out to us. Even for the high schools, even for any graduation ceremonies, we're constantly in the mix providing guidance and advice to when you're addressing the dignitaries, or when you have your acknowledgments and you're saying, good afternoon, good evening, whatever the case may be, who would you address first? How do you address them? And making sure that the MC has the correct information at their fingertips.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. How did you become a part of the protocol office?
Well, I started our office opened in April 2007, and I came on board in September of that year, and I immediately got entrenched in it by taking on the protocol training and just taking it on a whole new life. Coming from a tourism broadcasting background, it kind of helped propel me and prepare me for this role.
And when did you get this role?
In September of 2007.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
But not as chief of protocol. I came on as a protocol officer,
Mm-hmm.
and then protocol coordinator, and then a chief of protocol.
Which year did you become chief of protocol?
The current chief of protocol at that time, she retired, and we worked together well as a team, and then she retired, and then I was later appointed to the post.
Wow.
That's really
Haven't
good.
acted in the role for quite a while. Yeah.
That's really amazing.
Thank you.
And it's really great to see a woman in this position as well.
I agree.
I am here for it. Thank you.
So, the protocol, what? Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
The protocol office helps people to know how to behave when dignitaries come, correct?
We try
Or
to
how
help
to treat the flag. But
Absolutely.
when you see the Cayman flag, what does that mean to you?
It means that, well, you know what? You're asking a very good question, because first of all, I'm constantly and always on the job. So my first thought is that flag correctly? Is it flying correctly? Is it in a good condition? That's where my hat comes on with work, even if I'm in a private and personal errand or trip into town or out of town, and I'm constantly seeing flagpoles and flags flying high and proud in the sky. I look at my clock and I say, all right, is this the right time of the day for this flag to be up? So I'm constantly chasing people down and asking them to please ensure the flags are correct, because I take it extremely personal, and I know a lot of our Caymanians, we're very patriotic to our flag. We may not expose it and display it as much as some other country members would do, but we do respect our flag, and we know that it represents us. And when you think of how we are represented on the main stage, when we have our athletes travel away and we see them walking in with that flag, don't we feel proud? We feel so proud that this little small dot on the map being represented by somebody who will probably call us and say the Caymans, and of course that's but well, you know it's us.
Yeah.
And then you'll see the flag waving, and whether or not it's a Caymanian or who's waving the flag, that's another thought that comes to mind. Like, you feel really proud. It's our flag. Let's own it. Let's make sure that even if we're not waving it in pride, that we ensure that we learn what is necessary to do that we are not disrespecting it, and we're disrespecting ourselves as a country, because it's representative of our country. We're not looking at the coat of arms. We're looking at the flag, which has that coat of arms, and it also shows that our connection to that we're a UK territory as well, because it still has the UK flag on our flag.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I have one more question for you. So in 2007, when you joined the protocol office, was there a certain reason why you joined there?
I suppose I had just come back from college, had just got my master's degree in tourism, and I was pretty much looking around for a job back in the civil service, and I saw the job was advertised, and I tried my chances to get that opportunity. It was a new office, it was a new role, but I think in the advert they said that they would be willing to train you for the job. So looking at all of the qualifications that were listed in the job, felt that I checked off a couple of those options there, that I met them. So I still threw my hat in the ring. I was not discouraged and thought, oh, well, I don't think I qualify. I didn't feel as though discouraged by that. I still applied. I still had to interview. I still had to go through the many nights of wondering, did I get the job? Did I not get the job? And I thought, especially the part that appealed to me was the part that talked to etiquette, and being able to be a part of that move, that drive to ensure that I could help our young people in the schools, could help our community do a little bit better when we come to etiquette, dining etiquette, greeting people etiquette, and that all is a part, goes hand in hand with protocol.
I love that. Yeah, that's really amazing.
Yes, and that's what we do as well too. We go in the schools and we talk to them about the coat of arms, the flag, but we also help them with understanding the maneuvering of a dining table, pushing the chairs back in when you've sat down for your meal, talking with your mouth closed, that type of thing. We still also add that to our list of things that we offer as part of our community outreach. So I'm happy to provide more details to you. Feel free to call upon me for any type of flag guidance. Visit that website link that I've just showed you, and I've just told you about, and feel free to learn a little bit more about what the protocol office does.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So with Heroes Day just around the corner, what does the protocol office do specifically for that specific holiday?
We organize it with a lot of help. Let's put it that way. We are behind the scenes, as I mentioned, putting the plans in place to ensure that our members of our community who are being recognized and honored, who have made significant contributions, whether it's our national heroes or the people who we're recognizing based on the theme for that year, we're making sure that they are well invited, that they're well advised, that they have been given the respect and honor that is necessary to honor them on that day. So we work behind the scenes to send them their invitations, to ensure that they are, if they have any questions, if they have any, like, what do I wear? That type of thing, Make sure that they're aware of everything as it relates to them coming to the function. And of course, this year it's a little different. We still have invitations and inviting of folks, but we're mindful of our COVID environment now. So we have scaled it down and scaled it back a lot this time around. And but we will be able to stream it live, and you can still know what's going on National Heroes Day, as we honor our uniformed services as the theme, but we will not be presenting any awards. I think you mentioned that earlier at the beginning of the show. Mm-hmm. We will not be having any awards presentations and to those honorees. However, what we will focus on this Heroes Day is our national heroes. We will only be able to keep our numbers small by doing that on Monday. So we will be talking about our national heroes. We'll be commemorating them. We'll be laying wreaths in their honor. And we will be unveiling the bust of our newest national hero, the songwriter of our beloved Al-Human, the Honorable. And once you're a national hero, your title now changes to the Honorable, mm-hmm. and Layla Rush Share.
So I'd like to ask you more of a personal question. What does Heroes Day mean to you?
We're getting personal now?
I mean, we've been talking for a while, so I feel like it's only right.
Okay. Heroes Day, to me, every January, it comes around just right after Christmas. And it means that I have to buckle down in the entire month of December to make sure that our national heroes and those that we're honoring will get that honor. We'll get that wonderful. We'll celebrate them. Basically, we will celebrate them. So to me, having to play a part in that, I'm extremely pleased. I'm extremely satisfied to know that all of the work, all of the hard work behind the scenes, at the end of it all, it's wonderful to see the look on their faces, the humbleness that they exude, to know that somebody thought to nominate them, because of course the nominations would have been made by their family members, by their peers, by their colleagues, their bosses, whomever. We go out to the public and we ask you to nominate people, and then on the day we recognize you. So to know that I play a small part in that, it's mind-blowing, it's amazing. I don't get to really appreciate that role that I play until after the event, when I sit down, take a deep breath, and watch it all over, and thought, wow, you did that. Mm-hmm. Because it is, as many event planners will know, it is huge. It is a huge event. It takes the whole weekend to build up the square and make it into a transformational piece to present these awards and to recognize our heroes. And then it takes a couple hours just to build it down. It's a lot of work going in, and at the end of the day, if everyone who has been nominated and awarded is happy, is pleased, their family is able to be celebrating with them, should they have been somebody nominated and awarded who is not with us any longer, the family member will receive the reward on their behalf, that know that they've been recognized.
Yeah.
So my role in all of it, I'm very happy to take part in that and to be as passionately driven as I do with my job in that role, to lead the charge to make National Heroes Day the successful one each time that we do it.
That's good. So what do you think distinguishes a hero from an ordinary person?
Wow. You didn't prepare me for that one. What distinguishes? Ask me the question again. I'm on the Miss Keyman stage now. Give me the question again.
What do you think distinguishes a hero from an ordinary person?
Honestly, I think for most times when you bestow that award on someone, their first response will be, really, me? What did I do? I'm just an ordinary person.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that a true hero, really recognizes that they really are. So I think, to me, to answer that question, it just says that you don't do it just because you want to be a hero. You do it because you feel the love, you feel the drive to make a difference. You want to do something that you don't think about getting an award for. You're just doing it because. And you turn around and get that icing on the cake. Many a times when we call an awardee and we tell them that they've been awarded or they've been nominated to receive an award, we usually ask, do you accept this award? So they have that option to say yes or no. And a lot of times, you'll be surprised, people will say, no, I don't want it. And they're not trying to be mean, they're not trying to be disrespectful, and they're not trying to throw egg in anybody's face. It's just saying, I didn't do it for an award. I didn't do it to be seen as, oh, I'm such a big-headed person. I just did it because I just saved somebody's life just because I just rushed into that building to save that child just because. You don't do it to be a hero. You just do it as an everyday, ordinary person, which you are, and now somebody has taken the time, has taken the moment to thank you for it.
So we are in our season of caring. What/who do you care about?
You're in a season of caring, and what/who do I care about?
Yeah, like who or what do you care about?
That's so wrong. That's so wrong. Do I get a prize for answering this one? I suppose my voice will soften just a little bit more when I say Parker. Parker is my soon-to-be, next Tuesday, soon-to-be 4-year-old.
Aww.
And she is a princess.
That's so sweet.
I'm blushing in here.
So she is my baby girl, and I care tremendously about her. And she's also my National Heroes Day baby, apparently, because she was born right around the National Heroes Day time frame.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
It was meant to be.
She has an amazing mom that does a tremendous work in the Cayman Islands, and we appreciate her a lot.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Well, that is all my time for you. I must run now because I have a lot more things on my plate for National Heroes Day. Planning that for Monday. Do you have any other specific questions for me for National Heroes Day? I mean, you've covered it if you wanted to just read it again throughout the show, just to remind folks that we have scaled everything down. And what we have to say, if you're not invited to attend, please don't show up. We don't want to turn anyone away because National Heroes Day has always been for us to all come out, whether you're invited or not. Just come. It's a national day to celebrate your pride and share in your culture and eat free food such as conch and turtle and all that wonderful goodness, but not these days. Yeah, last time we did it, we had to scale it down, and this year we have to scale it down even further. So we're just going to be there for a very short time. We plan to broadcast it on Radio Keyman Live. We plan to broadcast it on the CIG TV channels, which will be on social media or on Logic, I suppose. And you know, if you are not invited, we ask you please, to help us spread that word that we don't want to go past our COVID protocol numbers, which is we're limited to 250. We're not at 200. So we obviously would need to, keep within that number and mindful that we're wearing masks, we're sanitizing, we're going to have all of that there, and we're also social distancing. So we're going to spread out as much as we can, and hopefully, oh yeah, we'll have a parade too. Let's not forget all that fun stuff, that parade. But for sure, for National Heroes Day, it is still our day, still a holiday, and for those of you who can join us on the to watch it live stream or listen to it, we encourage that for sure.
Thank you so much for all the information, and thank you for joining us today on YouthFlex.
We had so much fun learning about the protocol office.
Yeah.
I am happy to share more with you, but let's do it when I have some more time to spend. I'll even make it my business.
I agree. Yes.
Maybe I'll bring Parker too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much for joining with us.
And thank you for having me. Have a wonderful rest of the show, rest of your day, your weekend, and enjoy National Heroes Day, everybody.
Same to you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
So now we'll be having a quick music break. The song is Eye of the Tiger by Survivor. And we are back. So now in studio we have Mr. Jamo, and we will be speaking about the penal code, which we'll be expanding on next week.
Yes, well, we could be talking about the discussion paper. Next week. We have a discussion with some youth ambassadors and the president of the Cayman Islands Youth Assembly, and we'll be encouraging people to call in. The Cayman Islands Law Reform Commission have a discussion paper out for public consultation. It is where everyone in the Cayman Islands can have input into the recommendations. I know it's a decent read of 70 pages, but it outlines several things that they're looking to reform in the penal code. In the penal code is what the police is asked to enforce. Anytime you commit a crime is because you have done something, offense based on the penal code. And there's other codes like traffic and all that, there's laws and stuff. And once you break them, the police also enforces them. But the penal code is what the charges would be coming from. One of the things that is being recommended in the
Penal code.
In the discussion paper is to raise the age of criminal responsibility. As it is in the Cayman Islands, the age of criminal responsibility is age 10.
Wow.
It is lower than most international standards. And they are looking to see, get input from the public on raising the age of criminal responsibility to 12 or 14. And this is something that we'll be discussing next week as well. But they also had several other bits in the penal code that they're looking public consultation on. Is about legal abortions,
insulting the modesty of a woman. Unnatural offences, indecent assault, incest.
And it was something else too.
Compulsion
by spouse.
Yeah.
Because
what is compulsion by spouse?
It is where one spouse forces their spouse to commit a crime or unlawful act.
Oh. Okay.
It is like you being coerced into doing it, and it could be male or female. The law kind of speaks of a male to his wife, like a man compelled
forcing his wife to do a crime.
But it could be the other way.
Yeah.
Where a woman is forcing her husband to
commit a crime.
Right. And that they want to repeal that law. They want to do away with it. So those will be some of the areas for discussion. But primarily for next week, we want to touch on those stuff that affect the youth population.
Yeah.
Which is age of criminal responsibility, abortions also affect young people, and the compulsion of spouse not really, but we'll encourage people to call in, and to take part.
So we can hear their opinions.
The Youth Ambassadors has designed a survey, a Survey Monkey survey, Google Doc survey.
Yeah.
So, and it can be shared with persons who are interested in and giving their feedback that way. And then the youth ambassadors, along with the youth services unit, will collate the youth voice. But this is a way that not only young people can participate, so it's something that we want you to promote in your schools, for them to call in. We can share the link for the live YouTube feed, so they can either watch or send us WhatsApps or call in on the toll-free line that's provided here at Radio Cayman, and have their voice heard. I think it's very important that young people get used to looking for these opportunities to make real change on things that will affect them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this kind of law reform speaks directly to the youth population, and I think young people ought to have a voice in it. The Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture and Heritage also feels that youth voice must be heard in terms of this, and they're giving the Youth Services Unit the endorsement to go out and garner the youth voice and to collate it and to present it. for this discussion paper.
And also for the youth to be aware of these things, because
Yeah.
I feel like many of us, we
don't have a clue.
Yeah, because when you
Don't.
just said about the criminal responsibility,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Because no child like goes and picks up the law book, like the book with the
Yeah.
laws in it. Like that's not how you present things to children. You would have to like manually tell them
Sit down
what
and
the laws
explain.
are in order for them to know.
Now that you bring that up, I think the unit would probably have to reach out to some like the Youth Act group and to NDC
Mm-hmm.
to see if we can get into schools as
Yeah.
part
Yeah.
of life skills, is to bring to light some actions that are illegal
Mm-hmm.
That you
and that
don't
kind
even
of stuff.
know are
So
illegal.
that if you do this,
They think they're just doing it for fun, and you
Right,
really
and
don't know the
and-
consequences.
and if we even move the age of criminal responsibility to 14, high schoolers are still included.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So if the recommendations is age 14, that will be our target group, or even the 12 and 13-year-olds who will soon be 14, saying,
Mhm.
now you have to start to be mindful of your actions. Your actions could bear certain consequences because the law says.
And it will stay on your record.
And this
Right.
is real. It's not just
Yeah.
something that
Right.
you think isn't gonna happen.
So look forward to the discussions on next week, Wednesday. We can share the survey link with you through the promo so you can listen. If not, you can just email the Youth Services Unit at info.ysu@gov.ky and we can share the survey link with you to share with others. The more feedback we get there, that is anonymous feedback. But if you want your voice to be heard as a citizen of this country, we encourage you to call in or send an email to Youth Services Unit at info.ysu@gov.ky so we can then ensure that your voice is being heard and that we can share that at a public forum for you, and it can be part of this paper that the Youth Ambassadors and the Youth Services Unit will be presenting to the ministry. And the ministry will also have their views to be shared with the Criminal Law Reform Commission.
So how's the penal code different from like the law?
The penal code is the law.
It's the law. So like, why isn't it like called the law? Like, why is it called the penal code?
All right, because penal is linked to penalties. There's a penalty for every
So
action.
it's just specific to penalties.
Well, it gives you an idea of what the law is. So if you infringe the law, there's consequences.
Okay.
The consequences don't always be in the law, but sometimes they do. They like to say, if you are caught carrying a lie around, you can be sentenced up to 10 years. Because nobody makes guns in Cayman, and nobody makes bullets in Cayman. So the fact that you have
Exactly.
one means
But why
it's
would-
intentionally imported to
And
do
also,
something. You know what I'm
why
saying?
would you have a live round by itself? That means that a gun is nearby.
Exactly. And if you're not a hunter, or not a
Yeah.
registered
But you
owner,
have to be licensed.
then, you know what I'm saying?
to properly use a gun.
So those kind of things, because a child might stumble across a bullet in the bush and think it's cool just to pick it up.
yeah, and bring it
Yeah.
to school and be like, oh my god,
Look
I
what
got
I
a
find.
bullet. Yeah.
10 years and northward. You know what I'm saying? You will leave it.
Yeah.
You understand? Because, and that could be something that accidentally dropped by a hunter
Yeah.
who were hunting rabbits, or a farmer who was trying to run off iguanas or something, right? But it's not cool to have.
And was there like a specific reason why they just decided to start
Well,
for the?
why they're doing it is because the Bill of Rights is enshrined in our Constitution.
Mhm.
So they want to try to make sure that all the laws of the country is compatible with the highest law of the country, which is the Constitution. So all of these laws, all of these amendments are to try to bring this law in line, the penal code in line with the Constitution. So if the Constitution protects certain rights for people, then all the laws are supposed to protect certain rights for people.
Exactly.
So that's why they're doing it. But they want to make sure that this is done in a democratic way, where people make input into the law. It's not just a stiff.
I think that's the best way to do it.
And it is great. It's a great way of doing it. It shows the democracy at its highest, where the populace gets to inform the laws that govern them. And I don't think you get a better situation than that. It's saying like all of us live in a house, and all of us kind of come up with the rules, so Jessie don't feel like everybody beating on her.
And
right?
also, when, for example, like say I make this law, and then it comes out, and then nobody agrees with it, and then now we have a whole
disagreement,
a whole protest outside my front door.
Yeah.
So this can help in eliminating that from happening.
Yes, but that's why it's important for this to be very public. Like prior to today, you probably didn't hear anything about this.
Nope.
And while the Cayman Islands Law Reform Commission is trying their best to get it out to the public, I've never been part of any public forum on it. I mean, I'm a father of many, and a mentor to more that this will affect.
Yeah.
And I'll soon be a grandfather.
Okay.
Who, you understand? Because my children are grown. And then this law will affect their children.
Yeah.
And I would hate to know that my 10-year-old grandchild is being forced to do something silly at school or in the community, and he or she is branded that way for the rest of her life.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But if
you don't know the behind the scenes, because like peer pressure, like
we know peer pressure is real.
When you're young, it's like, especially if you're in like primary school or early high school, it's like you want to prove to your friends like, yeah, I can do this or whatever. So you do it, not knowing that in the end that gonna be on your record for life.
And then plus when that gets out, people don't care about why you did it. They just know that you did it, and that's what they label you as.
And was even worse now is that we're such a social media driven world that if you make an error, not just the police know,
everybody
the
know.
whole world can know. And
that mess you up. You don't.
So this is why it's very important for young people to be educated at an early age as to how to behave, what the do's and don'ts of life, and I think it gives us an opportunity to have this kind of discussion. And probably the Youth Services Unit can partner with other people and find a way to even link with the Cayman Islands Law Reform Commission in ways of breaking down the laws to young people that affect them. Especially stuff like the traffic code, workplace expectations, because young people go into workplaces and they don't even know that some of the stuff.
So true.
You know what I'm saying?
Because some things aren't taught in school. You just
right. And what is the real consequences for confidentiality breaches and all the stuff that you sign in these clauses when you hire because you just want a job?
Yeah.
And not knowing that certain conversations are not to be had
outside of
and
the workplace.
Many of our youth are going straight from high school into the workplace, and they don't know these things.
And to them, nothing is confidential because everything people post these days, right?
Yeah, nothing is private.
So, but when you have trade secrets to protect, you have funding sources to protect, you have trade sources to protect. You can't tweet everything. You can't understand. You go to jail for that because you signed a contract
saying you would not say all those.
You understand? So all of these teachable moments, I think, should be had. And I have some youth ambassadors that are legal students. So I'm hoping that out of this discussion next week, Wednesday, we can formulate a process where we can really educate young people on some of the stuff that helps them be better citizens.
I'm looking forward to the conversation next week.
Yeah, because these conversations need to happen before it's too late, you know.
Yeah, and that way I can learn more stuff about
it. Yeah, especially if it affects you at age 14 or 12.
Even then.
All right.
So thank you so much for joining on YOUTHFLEX. I am your host, Deidre, along with my co-host, Jessie. Shout out to our guest, Miss Melanie Sims, along with Mr. Jamo. Shout out to Radio Cayman for their work on sounding boards, Mr. Will Sinatra, DJ Lynn, and DJ Silver Fox. Shout out to Conrad for the live YouTube feed.
Also, special shout out to our YouthFlex crew, Jared Miles, YouthFlex Socials and Community Service, our musical director, Soraya Ramji, who is also on our YouthFlex news desk, Mikhail McLaughlin, our promo director, and the 100 plus Flex family all over the globe.
Thanks to SIFA, Cayman Insurance Center, UE Open Campus, and Mosquito Solutions for sponsoring the Super Jam, and to you, our listeners, for tuning in every Wednesday from 4 to 5 for YouthFlex on 89.9 FM. Join us again next Wednesday for YouthFlex's Season of Caring. Until next week, this is your host, Deidre Edwards, reminding you that Jesus loves you.